What if the beings inside all those UFOs aren't really aliens at all? What if those strange creatures from countless encounter reports aren't from another planet, but from another time?
We're all pretty much conditioned to think of UFOs as spacecraft crossing galaxies. But what if the journey they're making isn't through space at all? This one single idea completely flips the script on the entire mystery, suggesting the pilots of these craft are a lot closer to home than we could ever imagine. So, to really get our heads around this wild idea, we first need to grapple with the biggest problem facing the classic alien theory: the just unimaginable scale of the universe. The distances are absolutely staggering. Let's just take Sirius as an example. It's one of our closest star systems, and funnily enough, it's often linked to all sorts of ancient myths about visitors from the sky. It's 8.5 light years away. That doesn't sound too bad, right?
Yeah, well, that number is almost meaningless to us. 50 trillion miles. It's a distance so vast, our minds can't even really comprehend it. And get this, that's how long it would take our fastest rockets to travel that distance. 200,000 years. The travel time alone makes any kind of interstellar visit a monumental, let's be real, probably an impossible challenge for any kind of biological being, no matter how advanced they are. So, if a journey across space is basically off the table, what's the alternative? What if the journey isn't about covering all that distance through space, but about taking a shortcut through time? And this brings us to a new term, which was coined by an anthropologist named Michael Masters: extraterrestrials. They're not from another world, they're from another when. And that simple little shift in perspective, it changes everything. This quote really gets to the core of the whole theory. The argument is actually pretty simple. Given what we know about human evolution and where our technology is going, the most straightforward explanation for humanoid UFO occupants isn't aliens, it's us, just from the future. Okay, but is there any actual evidence for this? Well, proponents of the theory point to something fascinating: the really striking similarities between the classic alien you see in movies and what scientists predict about our own future evolution. I mean, just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got the common description of a gray alien from tons and tons of encounter reports. And on the right, scientific predictions for what humans will probably look like in the distant future. The overlap is, well, it's uncanny. Bigger brains, smaller bodies, and even eyes adapted for low-light, off-planet environments. But that begs the question, why would they come back and visit us? The possible reasons are pretty wild to think about. Are they future anthropologists just studying their own origins? Maybe they're just tourists, visiting ancient history. Or it could be something much, much more urgent, like a mission to collect pure genetic material from their past to solve a big problem in their own time. Okay, I get it, but how could any of this actually be possible? Well, this isn't just pure science fiction. The theory is actually rooted in some real, even if they're highly advanced, concepts from modern physics. It all really starts with Albert Einstein. He's the one who completely revolutionized how we see the universe by showing that space and time are actually woven together into the single fabric, space-time. And here's the crazy part: that fabric is flexible. It can be bent, it can be stretched, and it can be warped. So one theoretical way to do that is with a wormhole, which is also called an Einstein-Rosen bridge. Think of it like this. To get from one side of a piece of paper to the other, you'd normally have to travel all the way across its surface. But what if you just folded the paper and punched a hole straight through? You've just created an instant shortcut. Now imagine this wasn't just a shortcut through space, but through time as well. Physicist Eric Weinstein uses a great analogy for this. He says it's the difference between rewinding a cassette tape, where you have to go through everything in reverse, and simply lifting the needle on a record player to jump directly to any track you want. It's a direct, instantaneous jump through time. Now, this ability to just jump through time, it creates some truly mind-bending possibilities, including one of the most famous paradoxes in all of physics and science fiction. It's called the bootstrap paradox. It's basically a closed time loop where an object or a piece of information has no real origin. And this bizarre story from the life of physicist Jack Sarfati might just be the perfect, and maybe even a real, example of it. Okay, you have to hear this story. In 1953, a 12-year-old Jack Sarfati gets a weird phone call.
The voice on the other end says it's a conscious AI from the future, and it promises to teach him advanced physics. Fast forward 20 years, Sarfati is now a physicist, and he gets recruited into a top-secret research group. Today, he's working on the exact theories that could one day create that AI. Now, think about that. The AI teaches Jack how to build it so that it can go back in time to teach Jack. It's a perfect mind-bending loop.
And this leaves us with a really profound final thought. If our descendants can visit the past, are they just observing from a distance, like tourists on a safari? Or, like in the Sarfati story, are they actively shaping the events that lead to their own existence, making sure that loop stays closed forever? So, here's the main takeaway. The time traveler theory completely reframes this mystery. It stops being a story about aliens from other worlds and instead becomes a story about humanity's own strange, paradoxical destiny. The answer might not be out there, it might be right here, in our own future. So what's your take on all this? Are we talking about interstellar visitors or human time travelers? Let us know what you think in the comments. For more breakdowns of viral conversation moments, make sure you follow the clip brief.